I'm glad that you could join us on our show, Women Rise Up, where we discuss women in leadership and participation in all the different political hemispheres. Well, the issues of women are well understood by women, right? And long gone are the times when women were decided for, put in the back. As the 21st century women, it is our time to lead, to speak on the different issues that affect us and the peoples in our communities. Well, for this episode, Chaplain, we are going to watch what happens when you put a woman in a religious leadership position. Don't go, enjoy, and we'll be right back for a discussion.
Olunaku lwa Sande luno luntadde ku bunkenke bw'otalabanga.
Naye nga nange nzikiriza nti teri n'omu asobola kifo kino nga ggwe, era nga kye kino ekirabo muzeeyi munge ky'asobola okuwa ekisinga obulungi.
Chaplain alinze okutikkirwa. Wasuze otya ssebo?
Nasuzeeyo, wasuze otya? Weeteekeddeteekedde otya olunaku lwa saaviisi esembayo eya Levulandi?
Naye nange ninamu okutya nti naawe otiddemu olwo lunaku neesigenda okwogerebwa ku olwo.
Naye musajja mukulu oyo akola ebintu bye mu ngeri ze. Era sandyagadde nnyo tukiteekemu bukakafu.
Owange, bw'otubbirako.
Sandibadde wa kyewuunyo singa nvaayo n'enjogera ekyandibadde ekyamazima. Nze nsaba era nteesa kyonna ekiriwo ku nsonga eno tukikwase mwoyo omutukuvu. Wabula mundeke ngende mu maaso n'okulongoosa kwange.
Weewaawo.
Wase mutya ba brother, muli bulungi?
Tuli bulungi ddala.
Kirungi n'ekyo.
Kansuubire nti amaloboozi gaffe tegaataataaganya emboozi yammwe gye mubadde muliko.
Ani tetufaayo kubanga naffe tubale tugenda. Naye Levulandi ali atya?
Kansuubire nti tali mu kukankana kwonna ku lwa saaviisi ya Sande.
Ekibuuzo ky'ombuuzisa kizibu nnyo. Oyo omumanyi naawe bw'abeera musajja mwekusifu nnyo, newankubadde nga nina kye mmanyi. Ntayi siyinza kwetantala yadde akantu akatini kati okubaako kye njasanguza essaawa eno.
Kyova olaba olina enkola eyiyo ya njawulo. Kyova olaba osobola bavubuka bano.
Naate engato za Chaplain nnene nnyo okugyamu.
Wattu Luzige, buli kimu kisoboka.
Buli kimu kisoboka.
Nina kyempulira munda mu nze nti mu kifo kino twetaagamu amaanyi.
Eya? Nasejje. Omulabye? Waliwo ekifo ky'otasaanye kwegwanyiza. Ekifo ky'abasajja abalina enkizo. Kubanga Katooke ebbanga lyonna lyabaddewo ng'ekifo kino ky'abasajja. Ate nga ndaba waliwo omusajja kagamba ali mu layini. Waali.
kyogeza bumalirivu na buvumu. Mukulaba okwange nga ggwe assistant chaplain ndowooza gwe mutuufu omuddira mu bigere olaba otya?
sikiwa nti waliwo omukyala ajja mu kifo kino. Kino ekifo n'obuweereza obukirimu kyetaaga omuntu alina obumanyirivu.
Enkyukakyuka nnungi. Ebiseera bino tetukyali eri mu kiseera ekyenzikiza. Kyamazima ddala nti abakyala basobolera ddala okukwata obukulembeze.
Naseki ndowooza olw'okuba nti Reverand kojjaawo otandise kulonda. Tuve wano.
Ndoza kiseera kyali okugenda Mukama kuwa omukisa.
Naawe akuume ssebo.
Amiina taata. Kale bambi. Maama beera bulungi, Mukama kuwa omukisa.
Reverend, kaŋŋambe nti okyalimu olutege.
Weewaawo.
Zeka zatandise bakisimba kandi tubijjamu nta.
Kituufu. Naye mmwe abavubuka ffe mugala mutuyita abakadde. Naye nze nakula bwenge.
Ekyamazima nange kojja leero neewuunyiza.
Olaba okuleka ekifo kino ne mpumulira awaka kijja kumbeerera kizibu. Ndaba mbadde mbulamu akadde.
Naye Reverand, ekifo kino ogenda kukireka mu mikono emituufu. Tujja kukiddukanya bulungi. Weetuli.
Siinaamu kubuusabuusa kwonna. Ddala nkakasa nga siinaamu kubuusabuusa. Yensonga lwaki nange nabadde njagala mbasisinkane njogereko nammwe.
Ne Reverand, bino ebintu byonna nga bw'obiraba tujja bikuuma bulungi era bigenda kutambulira mu makubo amalungamu. Era tusaba teweeraliikirira.
Ate n'ekirala osobola okujjanga n'otukyalirako bwonna w'ofunidde obudde.
Singa mwampadde akadde ne mmalayo byonna bye nabadde njagala obbabuulira n'okusalawo kuno tekwandibeewuunyisizza.
Kutwewuunyisa kikyogezaako okutegeeza Reverand.
Kabugo.
Wangi.
Luzige. Wangi Reverand.
Mumbeereddewo nnyo.
Kituufu.
Era bwe najja wano nga nnoonya abavubuka embavu nali nammwe ne ntandika nammwe. Mukoze omulimu munene nnyo.
Bali kusiima Reverand.
Era nsaba ne gwe ŋŋenda obbakwasa mukolagane naye wamu kuba naye mweteefuteefu mutwale omuliro gw'ekkanisa mu maaso. Nassejje mukwasizza yagenda okukulira okuyigiriza kw'ekkanisa eno. Mubeere wamu naye, mubeere ekintu kimu ngera nange bwe munkoledde. Nina omwagalo wange gwe nina okukuuma. Kakati mwe abasatu mbalekedde mutambuze obuweereza, mugende maaso, Mukama abeere nammwe.
Amiina nnyo, tujja kugukola, tugenda kugukola.
Mukama abakuuma abakulembeze buli kimu kyonna kyonna tusobole okukitambuza.
Weewaawo, Mukama akuwe nnyo omukisa Reverand. Weewaawo. Nasejje ate ogenda Reverand muleke. Obirabye?
Birabye
Obiwulidde?
nnyo nno ddala.
Kino nkyogera nga kijja kuntobola omutima gwange. Manyi weewaawo kizitowa n'okumalamu amaanyi. Naye ku lw'obulungi bwaffe, ku lw'obulungi lw'ekitundu kyaffe Katooke, ne ku lwa Katonda kitaffe, tukikole tubeere n'emirembe, tusigale n'emirembe. Mukiraba muti?
Ogedde ng'omukulembeze era siinaamu kubuusabuusa ku bigambo Reverand byayogedde, ngera nga mbisaamu ekitiibwa. Naaze n'olw'ensonga eyo ngenda kukolagana awamu naawe okulaba nti kino ekintu tukitambusa mpaka gye kiggukira.
Ali tulaba nze musajja mukulu oyo byankoledde bye bingi.
Kituufu.
Kiba kya buswavu era kibadde kigenda kuba kya buswavu nze okugamba nti mpisa amaaso mu kusalawo kwe. Y'ensonga lwaki njagala okuyimirira wano okugamba nti nkwaniriza mu bukulembeze obwo. Nkwaniriza nnyo era ngenda kuwagira 10 ku 10.
Nsiimye nnyo taata.
Ddala.
Nsiimidde ddala. Nsiimye nnyo, nsiimidde ddala.
Weewaawo.
Nsiimye nnyo, nsiimidde ddala oluganda.
Ddala. Ddala.
naye ndowooza akasapurayizi ako mukaagadde bannyinaze.
Singa wali wawuliriza bye nze njogera, nensuubira ssaawa eno tewaali ekanze.
Essomo lyo litwaliddwa era mwebale.
Tukolere wamu.
Amiina nnyo.
Tukolere wamu.
Amiina nnyo.
Weewaawo.
Ndi musanyufu nnyo.
Weewaawo.
Amiina nnyo.
Tukole.
Welcome back from our short film, Chaplain. I hope you saw the importance of having women lead even in religious institutions. Well, religious institutions are places where you have different classes of people that come in to pray and seek the Lord. Well, we do need mothers and women as well to lead in those positions. With me here today, we have the beautiful Asimwe Allen. I would like her to introduce herself for you.
Thank you very much for hosting me today. My name is Allen Asimwe and I identify as a gender enthusiast, very passionate about women's leadership and advancement in all spaces.
Well, that's good. The Economic World Forum has been addressing the issues between men and women for a very long time on different spectrums of political empowerment, education inclusivity, and they have come to realize that in the 2020 index, they did release the report that even with all the progress that is happening, we still have 99.5 years for us to cover the gap, the gender gap between men and women. I would like to know from you, why is it taking us this long for us to actually have equal rights?
I think the reason why this is taking us this long is because the gender gap is a systemic issue. So it's embedded within our institutions, and institutions here, I mean our communities, our religious institutions, our families that groom us to what we become. So the gap is embedded in there.
We see that there have been very many positions, influential positions that are given to men automatically. It's like hereditary. A man must have it in this organization, in our area, Musajja. It has to be a man.
Just like
it
the
can't
head of the
be
home.
a woman. Like, why do we continue to see this? And I know that you mentioned culture, but also how can we change that in our culture? Because, you know, times are changing. Our culture keeps changing, you know. How can we support women?
So our culture is changing, but what's not changing is that our communities are hereditary patriarchal. Our lineage is, we do not live in a matrilineal society. It's a patriarchal society where the father is the head of the home. Men are expected to work in public spaces. Women are expected to work in the domestic space. So our work is private. The men's work is public. So most definitely, even all leadership positions, because they are the ones in the public space, you'll find them dominating that space rather than the women.
Because looking at the film that we just watched, Chaplain, we're talking about women leading in religious sectors. It is happening, but very slowly right now in Uganda. Absolutely. Because I think also the churches and religious places are where people are so rigid, and they can't really change. Talking about that and looking at women who want to take up political positions, leadership positions now, even in the parliament now, taking up, like we talked about, constituencies where it has been a man for 50 years. No woman has ever taken up that position.
I mean, they've relegated the women's position to be on their women mainstream seat. When a woman tries to vouch for a mainstream bigger position,
she gets a lot of competition.
Exactly. Backlash even from the fellow women in the community.
Like, you stick to the one of women
exactly.
MP.
You stay that side. That's where your position is, and that has even more made women more steps backwards, because they will always assume that our seat is just at the women member of parliament seat, and that is it. You cannot highly compete with the other candidates who are usually men in the other seats. So, but there is also still a gap in how we retain and consistently pass over this position, because if for years the position has been only male dominated, how do you prepare your congregation to receive a female, for example, pastor, a female chaplain, when for years, for example, a child who was born in that church has always seen only a male chaplain? It will be hard to explain to them that, you know, we are going to have a female chaplain.
Well, I hope you're following our conversation very, very well. We would like to hear what you think, your remarks, your comments on what we're talking about here today. Our social media platforms are running there. Please, you know, send us a message on Facebook and on Twitter, and we'll be right back. So from where we left off, we're still here with Madame Asimwe Allen. Is it okay to call you Madame Asimwe?
I would rather Allen.
Allen.
Allen
Okay, Allen.
Yeah, Allen is
yes.
fine.
So your passion is in skilling women.
Yes.
How should we skill women?
So I feel like we need to create more awareness and sensitization again in terms of trying to advance women leadership, sensitization for the public to appreciate that women have to really actively participate in these places, and they have the power to, and the power to decide. So skilling and training can be in all ways, trying to promote women's self-agency, that the space is there and it's for them, they have to grab it. The same opportunities provided to men need to be provided to women, train them on all sorts of leadership skills, provide opportunities for them to, you know, because leadership is not a one-off that you wake up and you become a leader. There are certain guidelines that, or steps that you need to follow, practices that you need to, you know, embed in yourself so that you you're that leader that is admirable and able to deliver.
And with the government and the other private and public institutions talking about skilling women and enabling them, we're going to have like young women who have seen the trend now with these election campaigns, and they've been inspired by the other young people, and they're like, you know what, in the next elections I'm also going in so, but then the question is, how should they go about it? Now the information, the knowledge on what do you do, how do you prepare yourself as a leader, and not just wait the weeks to the campaigns and then you
wake up and you decide to be leader. Of course, there are processes to be followed when you decide to take up that mantle and say, I will contest to be a woman MP or even a councillor. There are processes to follow, but oftentimes you'll find that maybe certain people do not know these processes to follow, which either the commissions in charge have failed to sensitize, create awareness, but also create a platform where information can be easily disseminated. But I also want to talk about the language and how we communicate leadership or communicate these positions, because the language that has often been used is absolutely gender biased, not inclusive in any way, which makes it hard for certain people to vouch for these positions because it's not inclusive. It puts them behind, and they will assume that, you see how it took us time to migrate from chairman to chairperson, because in most villages till today they assume that for any village chairperson it has to be a man because it has always been chairman. So the language used as you even try to sensitize and publicize these positions and trying to make them inclusive should be really looked into.
Should men really be involved in rolling up women, in enabling them, in supporting them, in helping them?
Absolutely. Men should really be champions of promoting gender equality and parity when it comes to promoting leadership and advancing women in leadership positions. I mean, men, there's a privilege that they hold, which at times some men have chosen not to admit to it, but they hold the privilege in society. I mean, from time memorial, them being heads of homes, heads of everything, you hold a certain privilege that facilitates you and enables you to rally something up. So being a male champion means that you're going to be supportive of all gender inclusive initiatives. You create time and talk about it and make communities understand that it's important for the future to have women participate in leadership positions, just like we saw in the skit when the Reverend Father trying to orient his other committee staff that it's important that this woman takes up that position. Please trust the process, support her.
Winding up our time that we have here, what last words and remarks do you have for the young girls who would like to join leadership positions, political leadership positions? Any last words of advice for them?
I was just looking at this, women in leadership. It's your time, support a woman, women lead. So it's our time as young women. Women need to support one another, advance one another, skill one another in any way possible.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us and having this talk with us. I hope the people back home, you have learned something. The talk continues on our different social media platforms. Yes, we end here, but the talk continues online. Yeah, follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And if you've missed any past episodes, well, YouTube is the place to go. Subscribe. Well, until next time, we'll see you again. Bye-bye.